Can population changes cause decline in fortunes of nations? Well, there are two grand theories about the relationship between population and decline. The first theory was presented by English economist Thomas Malthus, while the second theory is associated with the German philosopher Oswald Spengler. According to Malthus, overpopulation will lead to civilizational decline. However, for Spengler, it's depopulation that leads to civilizational decline. However, both Malthus and Spengler agree that population induced decline is inevitable. We start with Malthus. He presented his theory in Essay on the Principle of Population. Its first edition was published in 1798 and the sixth and final edition in 1826. Malthus' thesis is based on a contrast between two concepts, arithmetic progression and geometric progression. And as you can see on the screen, geometric progression is much faster than the arithmetic progression. According to Malthus, food supply goes up by arithmetic progression, whereas population increases by geometric progression. That is the reason population growth will always exceed food supply growth. Population will always expand to the limit of subsistence with extremely low living standards. For Malthus, population growth can be checked in only three ways. Number one, vice, by which he means wars. Number two, misery, by which he means famine and or pandemic. And number three, moral restraint, by which he means abstinence from sex. However, Malthus remained skeptical about the efficacy of any of these methods, for whom poverty is inescapable, and therefore poverty alleviation programs are a futile exercise. How much was Malthus right? Malthus' forecast, it is obvious, doesn't hold in case of developed nations for at least two reasons. Number one, agricultural revolution or agricultural innovations and development have resulted in increased yield or productivity. And number two, there has been fall in population growth rate in developed countries on the back of development. That is the reason in developed world by and large, increase in food production has exceeded or at least remains equal to population growth rate. But there is one problem. Intensive farming induced agriculture yield has created an extremely adverse impact on the environment. Then there is a problem of the least developed countries or LDCs who are facing intense food insecurity and hunger. According to Food and Agriculture Organization, in the year 2023, 29% of the global population struggled to access adequate food regularly, and of these, 11% of the global population faced severe food insecurity. In such a scenario, we cannot rule out environment-related catastrophes on a global scale or global hunger wars. This suggests that the good old Malthus may not be too much off the mark. Oswald Spengler is primarily known for his work The Decline of the West, whose two editions or first two volumes, it is a two-volume books, were published between 1918 and 1922. The central thesis developed by Spengler in The Decline of the West is a contrast between culture and civilization. Contrary to popular belief, Oswald Spengler asserts that civilization is declining phase of a culture, and there are many common signs of a declining civilization. Common signs means the signs which appear in every civilization that has declined. Population growth rate, negative population growth rate is one of those signs. For Spengler, depopulation occurred in all past civilizations, including Greco-Roman, Egyptian, Indian, and Chinese. The Western civilization is also facing depopulation. According to Spengler, the civilized man becomes increasingly sterile and woman infantile, not in a biological sense, but because having children is considered irrational. Spengler famously remarks in Decline of the West, when having children becomes a matter of cost and benefits, something vital has gone out of life. Now, how was Spengler right? No doubt many countries at the moment are showing depopulation. And depopulation is also linked to the level of development, as it is the mainly developed countries or the countries who are on the cusp of development that are showing depopulation. The countries showing depopulation include Western European states, several states in the United States, several Eastern European states, and the leading economies in Asia, including China, Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan. According to the prestigious journal, The Lancet, the world population will peak about 9.7 billion in 2064, before falling to 8.8 billion by the end of the century. In over 23 countries, population will shrink more than 50%. China already has lost its most populated country status to India. Having peaked in 2021, the Chinese population contracted the following 2 years. Meanwhile, the Chinese government introduced three-child policy in 2021, replacing the two-child policy introduced in 2015. However, the efficacy of such policies remains under question. In Japan, the population peaked in 2008 and then began to fall. It is estimated that population will shrink by half from peak level by the end of this century. In South Korea, it has the lowest fertility rate worldwide. Its current population is 51 million, which may shrink by half at the turn of the century. Now, why should depopulation be a matter of concern? For one thing, it results in growing share of the old population. As you can see on the screen, in Japan, the share of the old population, that is 65 and above, is likely to reach 41.2% by the end of the century. In China, the share of the old population is projected to increase to 25% by 2050. There are several adverse implications of aging. Number one, increased dependency ratio. Number two, shrinking labor force. Number three, high social security spending. And it may also affect long-term growth in these countries. This also suggests that Spengler may not be too much off the mark. Now, what is our conclusion? Who is right? Malthus, Spengler, or neither? My view is that Spengler was right. I will especially refer to his quotation: when having children becomes a matter of cost and benefit, something vital has gone out of life. I will explain the reasons why I think Spengler may be right in my one of the forthcoming videos on his book, The Decline of the West. I trust you like this video. If that is the case, please subscribe to my channel Wisdom of Life, and I'll also share your comments with me. Thanks.